To have control of 1,000 square kilometres of Russian territory a week after it launched its surprise incursion across the border. Russia has been moving more than 120,000 civilians out of the Kursk region, where Kyiv's forces have been making gains. Many residents have been forced into temporary shelters. They say they had little warning to get out as fighting erupted in their towns and villages.
Our whole life was left behind there. Friends left as well, and our house. They were saying looting was going on. If you were not killed or your house was not hit, you still don't know where you were going to find. Everything we had was left there.
Everything there was what we have acquired in our lifetime, all our own. It's hard to get over it.
Up to 10,000 Ukrainian troops have advanced deep into the region, seen here in blue. It's the largest border raid since Russia launched its war on Ukraine 2.5 years ago. Much of the fighting has taken place in the city of Sudzha. The regional governor has updated the Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Today, 28 settlements are under enemy control. The depth of penetration into the territory of Kursk region is 12 kilometres. The width along the front, 40 kilometres.
Ukraine surprised Russia with the incursion. Most of the Kremlin's forces are engaged in frontline operations in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. Reinforcements are now being urgently redirected to counter Ukraine's offensive, including elite special forces units and mercenaries from the Wagner Group. Mr. Putin has described the cross-border attack as a major provocation. He says the enemy will receive a worthy response.
The main task is, of course, for the Ministry of Defence to drive and squeeze the enemy out of our territories and, together with the Border Guard Service, to provide a reliable guard for the state borders.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has also been meeting with his ministers and military commanders. He says his forces are operating in an area from where the Russian army has carried out more than 2,000 rocket and missile strikes on Ukraine's region since June.
It is only fair to destroy Russian terrorists where they are, where they launch their strikes from. Russian military airfields, Russian logistics. We see how useful this can be for bringing peace closer. Russia must be forced into peace if Putin wants to continue waging war so badly.
Russia's state media has largely been focused on the Kremlin's efforts to help displaced residents and playing down the military's unpreparedness for the attack. It's considered an embarrassment for Mr. Putin and his narrative that Russia has been left unscathed by the war. But analysts also note the incursion could ultimately be costly for Ukraine.
We've already seen that Russia has much more military personnel than Ukraine. And while Ukraine has managed to kind of stretch Russian military forces thinner, it also has to stretch its own forces much thinner. And Russia presumably is going to try and hit back quite hard because this is obviously making them look quite bad. And it's something that Putin won't want to see repeated.